So a hell of a lot of you guys wanted to see this, and so yesterday I posted a thing on Facebook asking if you guys wanted to see my process for creating ads from start to finish, because my friend Hernan always says every Monday we need to be launching 5 new ads, and because sometimes I want to be an overachiever, I decided I was going to do 50 new ads. Over the last several months, there's been a lot of, I hate to say copycats, but they're straight up copying my sales page word from word, my ads word for word. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to beat them because this is my stuff. And so I decided yesterday that I was going to launch 50 new ads. Now, before I actually show you guys how to actually do that, the first thing that you have to understand is that I do ads 2 different ways. Okay. A lot of people have the misconception that I don't do ads that go straight to my $7 program. That's not true. I do cold traffic to 2 places, one to an offer and two to my ecosystem, right? Because my ecosystem is built around an offer or a funnel. Okay. And so that's the first thing that you have to understand. So this process that I'm going to walk you guys through today is for ads that are going to be going to my $7 offer. Okay. This is separate from my actual ecosystem ads. And so this is going to be ads that are going to be driven straight to my $7 offer. So here's what my process looks like. Let me actually get my share my screen here. So what this process actually looks like. And so step number 1 is I'm always going to do an ad that is going to solve a problem. And this is something that I always tell my students, is that anytime that I'm doing a piece of content, now this rule is true whether I'm doing ads, whether I'm doing content, because in my world, ads are content and content are ads. Because pretty much every single piece of content, including this video, is going to be turned into some sort of ad. But this is my whole thing before I create any type of content. I'm always like, what problem am I trying to solve? And so that's step number 1, is you have to understand that every single ad needs to solve a very specific problem. Now, how do you know what specific problems to solve? Well, I look for these in 3 different ways, okay? Way number 1 is I have 100 plus DM conversations with my audience every single week. Now, I totally understand there's a lot of you guys who are going to push back on that, but this is where I get some of the absolute best ad content. Most of my best performing ads come from a conversation that I had with someone in Messenger. Now, way number 2 is from my newsfeed, from friends and colleagues. So for instance, one of the ad angles, the big idea that I used yesterday was one of my friends, well, I guess I should say colleague. I don't really know this person in real life, but she had posted that nurturing your audiences is pretty much obsolete. And she talked about how she used to be a vacuum cleaner salesman, and she would go to people's houses, knock on their doors, and get them to buy. There's no nurture or anything. Well, so the whole big idea is around, well, there's a difference between direct response selling and doing something like brand building. Because when you are going door to door, I just kind of talk about how you're pretty much in a quote, don't excuse the pun, a vacuum, right? Because when you're knocking door to door, you don't have competition. But when you're advertising online, there is a ton of competition. And so we have to understand that. And so that's the big idea, right? So that was a big idea that I did an ad around yesterday. I'm going to show you guys what I do with each of these big ideas. And then the other place I get ideas is I visit competitors' websites so that I get retargeted with their ads. And you can tell which ads are doing really well are the ones that are running the longest, right? Because someone's not going to keep an ad that's not performing well, running for long periods of time. And so these are where I get my big ideas and how I specifically find those problems that my ideal audience is facing, okay? So step number 1, we've got to understand that every single ad must solve a problem. Step number 2, that we're going to get them from conversations. We are going to get them from our newsfeed, and we're going to get them from retargeting ads based upon our competitors, okay? Now, step number 3, okay? Step number 3 is I'm going to pull 10 of the biggest ideas from either the conversations, either from the newsfeed or from the ads that I'm getting targeted, right? So I'm going to pull the 10 biggest ideas and I'm going to create a script based on problem solution offer, the classic PSO script. That's not something I came up with. That's just one of the most popular, right? A lot of you guys are trying to find this special script, but it doesn't have anything to do with the format, the framework of the words necessarily that you're saying, as long as you're following a problem solution offer type framework, okay? So I got my 10 biggest ideas, right? And like for example, the vacuum cleaner story, right? The big idea was, yes, when you're marketing online, you have to nurture your audience. It's not going to work the same as someone who's doing door-to-door knocks, right? There's no competition. Online, you got competition. So that's the big idea, right? So I'm literally going to write a script that talks about competition and why it's important to nurture. And then I'm going to make the offer. Hey, if you want to learn how I nurture my audience for less than $5 a day, click the link below, buy my $7 program, right? So that's step number 3 is I pull 10 of the biggest ideas from content that I'm seeing online. So I'm literally getting it directly from people that I follow, directly from my ideal clients who I'm having DM conversations with, and I'm getting them from competitors who are running winning ads that are targeting my audience, right? And then step number 4, the next thing that I'm actually going to do is I'm going to grab my 10 best hooks, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to record the body of this PSO script right here, right? So let's just say this is the competition nurture. I'm going to have 10 different versions that have 10 different hooks, okay? So the body of this is going to be the same, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in 10 different hooks, okay? So I've got a list of templates. A hook would be how to do X in X days. Another hook would be the truth about blank that no one wants to tell you, right? Those are different examples of different hooks. And so I actually have a cheat sheet of my favorite hooks. By the way, if you want that hooks cheat sheet, drop a line below this video and I will be more than happy to gift that to you. I won't ask you for your email address or anything like that. Like, I'm just going to give it to you for watching this video. Now, step number 4, again, 10 best hooks. Then step number 5 is I'm literally going to launch all of these ads, okay? So if I were doing this, I would have 100 different ads. Yesterday, I was lazy and I just did 5 versions and I did 10 different hooks. Now, what I also did was I'm gonna make a longer form video, so 3 to 5 minutes. This is gonna be my YouTube ad. This is gonna be my newsfeed ad. Then I also did a short Reels version that's gonna be 60 seconds. And then I also did a 15-second story placement. And so this is my framework. I know that so many of you guys want me to tell you that there's this, really sophisticated way of me doing ads. I literally, guys, look at my newsfeed, look what problems to solve, and I literally just go to town and I go shoot with this right here. I don't have any, I do have tons of fancy equipment. It's laying around all over my office, but honestly, I'm shooting my ads like this. I'm walking around in different locations. Some of them I'm sitting here at my desk. I'm going to change up my backgrounds. And like I said, I'm doing different formats. I'm doing shorts. I'm doing longer form. I'm going to use the flexible format. And then I'm just going to let Facebook pretty much sort it out. Now, the question that a lot of you guys are probably like, well, how did you launch them inside your ads manager? Okay, so this is what I do. Now, there's a lot of different ways that people do this. So I've got one campaign that's going to cold traffic for my $7 program. Okay. Now, whenever I launch these, I want to do it in the laziest way possible. Okay. Because I don't want to be babysitting my ads manager. As a matter of fact, I hate babysitting the ads manager. I hate looking at it. I don't want to be in it. And so what I do is I do this CBO, meaning I'm just going to throw $200 a day and I'm just going to let Facebook figure it out. I'm going to go open targeting because my pixel has tons of data. Should you go open targeting? I don't know how much data do you have. In the very beginning, you kind of want to give Facebook some direction. But I'm gonna do open targeting. I'm gonna use CBO, and I'm going to divide my ad sets with 5 ads under each ad set. Okay. So I'm going to do 5 ads. I'm going to duplicate that ad set and then add another 5 ads. I'm going to duplicate that ad set and I'm going to do another 5 ads. And I literally keep adding ads to this same campaign. Now, what's going to happen? Okay. Now, what's going to happen is whenever I'm going to add these new ad sets right here, my original ad sets that have been running a while, they are going to take up much of the budget because Facebook already knows I have winners here. But what it's going to do over the next several weeks is it is going to start to reallocate this $200 a day to some of these new ad sets. And the reason that Facebook is doing that is because it doesn't want to spend all of my money because I already have proven assets right here. And so basically what it's going to do, it's going to keep borrowing just a little bit. So it's going to take a little bit of time to actually optimize this. And that freaks a lot of people out. And so a lot of people like to use ABO for this, to where they'll do like, I'm going to put $50 here and then I'm going to duplicate that and put $50 here. There's no right or wrong way to do this. This is just the way that I do it. And so that's pretty much how I do it. Like I always tell people, like right now, the algorithm wants more content. That's the way to win, is more content. They're gone are the days of just having one ad and it's just going to run and run and run. It's going to make you $1 zillion. Right now, the algorithm, what I'm seeing is it just wants more content. And so that's why, in addition to doing these offer ads, and by the way, I don't do these offer ads very often. I really don't. Like this is the first time that I'm updating my offer ads in probably 2 years. Like 2 years, guys. My ads, if you guys look at the dates on my $7 ads, they've been running a really long time. The only ads that I really truly update are my ads that go on the conveyor belt. Like my power content videos have been running for several years. My hot 7 ads, which I now call the green light sequence because there's no longer 7 of them. I probably have like 30 or 40 of them running, each at $2 a day. The only ads that I update are my conveyor belt content pieces. And that's just kind of like where my organic and my ad strategy is kind of like a hybrid. And so every single piece of content, including this video, is going to get boosted and it's going to get shown to people who have either watched 25% of my video or they have bought my $7 program. I like running ads to my warm audience versus just lukewarm audiences. And so I don't really like to do clicks. If someone's visiting my sales page, and they don't move forward, I'm going to redirect them to a power content video, make them watch 25%, then show them some more offer ads. And then obviously they're going to get the conveyor belt and all of that. Let's see, any other questions that you guys might have? Oh, I will also, so here's a little hack that I do. So when I launch these ads in particular, I'm going to launch them to my warm audience first, okay? Because I want to get social proof on them. And so I'm going to get Facebook to show these ads to my warm audience. So I'm going to run this to the people who've already watched at least 25% of any of my power content videos. As a matter of fact, I will even do one up because I have so many people who have already watched 25% or more. I'm likely going to do it to the people who've already watched 95%, just because I have so much warm traffic. I'm going to really hit my warm traffic with these. They're going to comment. All of you guys are always amazing. Thank you. I appreciate all of you guys who are taking up for me on my ads, because sometimes people can be just straight up cruel. And so I always appreciate anytime I see you guys commenting on my ads. It always makes my day. So I want to say, first of all, thank you for that. Because sometimes I see the right comment on a day that I'm just reading a whole bunch of negative comments. So I appreciate that. So I always run these ads to warm traffic first. It kind of feeds the algorithm, tells it who I want to look at. You guys start engaging with it. You guys start commenting. You guys start buying. Then when I launch them to cold, they've already got social proof. They've already got all of these awesome comments on it. I think that covers everything. But if not, if you still have questions, drop them below this video. Like I said, if you want my list, I'll even give you guys like my structure of how I launch these. I'll pretty much, whatever you guys need, you guys let me know. And hopefully you guys found a lot of value in this video. I wish I was fancier, but honestly, I just do content, throw it in the ads manager. That's my entire process. So anyway, hopefully that wasn't disappointing, but that's legit how I do stuff. So anyway, You guys have an amazing day. Love you all, and I'll see you guys in the next video.